India finally heard the voice of its children because one state first listened in a quiet corner of Rajahmundry. A mother wept, not because her child had spoken a word, but because, for 912 days, he hadn't. She had tried everything: flashcards, prayers, screen time bans, gentle routines, silent prayers. Nothing worked. Doctors said, "Wait and see." Teachers said, "He's just shy." And every day, she wondered if her son would ever look into her eyes and say Amma. Then, one afternoon in a modest therapy room, something changed. Pinnacle Blooms didn't start with therapy. They started with a map, a mirror, a score. The therapist showed her something called Ability Score, a 0-1-0-0-0 scale that reflected her child's strengths, delays, and potential. For the first time, she saw her son's development not as a mystery but as a pattern that could be read, tracked, supported, and then, 42 days into therapy, her son turned to her and whispered, "Amma, it wasn't a miracle, it was measured progress." And it was the beginning not just of her child's transformation, but of a movement India was about to recognize. On June 13, 2025, a letter was signed in Amaravati. It bore the official seal of the government of Andhra Pradesh, and the words of its Honorable Health Minister Satya Kumar Yadav, who didn't just acknowledge a therapy network. He endorsed a future. Pinnacle Blooms network is not just delivering therapy, it is delivering a future. Honorable Satya Kumar Yadav, Minister for Health, Family Welfare, Medical Education. That sentence marked more than appreciation. It marked India's first formal recognition of a mother-led, scientifically validated, outcome-proven developmental therapy model, one built not in labs, but in therapy rooms, family homes, and 70 cities across the country. It was the first time a state government openly declared this works. This is needed. This is now. Andhra Pradesh didn't just see Pinnacle's numbers, it saw something deeper, that this wasn't a private center's success. It was a scalable national solution, and Andhra Pradesh was ready to lead with it. The state government's letter wasn't ceremonial, it was structural. It signaled to India and the world that child development is no longer a guessing game. It can be measured, it can be mapped, it can be made universal. And it began with one mother, one child, and one government that chose to believe. Following this endorsement, Pinnacle is now engaging with the government of Andhra Pradesh to pilot Ability Score screenings in public clinics, integrate SEVA into ICDS, and COT rain therapists and ASHA workers across the state. This collaboration could become India's most scalable early intervention blueprint. 3. The science. The government SAW. When the Health Ministry of Andhra Pradesh endorsed Pinnacle, it wasn't based on sentiment, it was based on science. The heart of Pinnacle's national relevance and global potential are two world-first innovations: the world's first 0-1-0-0-0 universal child development metric. Evaluates 344 developmental skills across 9 core domains, including speech, cognition, emotion, sensory processing, and behavior. The score doesn't diagnose, it reveals where a child is thriving, where support is needed, where urgent intervention is required. More than a number, it's a compass trusted by therapists, understood by parents, and structured enough to serve as a national development index. Probably the world's first autism and child development-focused artificial intelligence engine, IT doesn't just predict meltdowns, IT assists therapists in daily goal planning, reduces burnout, and personalizes therapy in real time using insights from over 19 million sessions. Together, Ability Score and therapeutic AI transform what has long been an invisible struggle into visible, trackable, data-led progress. The government saw more than innovation, IT saw validation. These are not aspirations, they are results. Backed by 12 independently conducted research studies, consolidated into Pinnacle's 2025 White Book, and now referenced by leading academic and policy institutions. Andhra Pradesh's recognition was not based on faith, it was based on proof. This revolution was not led by labs. It was led by mothers. Over 70% of Pinnacle's workforce are women therapists, caregivers, designers of dignity. And behind every Innovation Ability Score, SEVA, Everyday Therapy Program stands the lived experience of parenting, waiting, and never giving up, led by Dr. Srija Reddy Sarapalli, herself a mother, therapist, and innovator. The network now spans with over 90 crore Indian children and families in need. Pinnacle has become their mirror, their map, their megaphone. When Andhra Pradesh chose to recognize Pinnacle Bloom's network, it didn't just issue a letter, it extended a hand to the nation and to the world. This was not a one-time appreciation, it was a policy signal, a readiness statement, a formal invitation to collaborate, scale, and replicate a framework that has already changed lives across 70 cities. The government saw in Pinnacle not a private center, but a public solution equipped with Andhra Pradesh's leadership offers a blueprint for how state-backed health missions, education boards, and CSR foundations can integrate this framework. This is not charity. It is design, not a pilot. A platform. The Andhra Pradesh government has now laid the foundation for other states, other nations, and other global institutions to follow. You are a policymaker, a health system strategist, an education leader, a CSR head, or a development economist. This is your moment to act. Pinnacle isn't just ready to expand, it's already engineered for replication with open licensing, IP protections across 160 countries, GDPR HIPAA DPD compliant infrastructure, and a proven ability to deliver measurable, equitable child development outcomes across diverse geographies. India has built the system, Andhra Pradesh has validated it. Now, the world is invited to deploy it. When the government of Andhra Pradesh chose to endorse Pinnacle Bloom's network, it wasn't only acknowledging a therapy provider, it was recognizing a scientific innovation platform built in India, protected across 160 countries, and engineered to solve one of the world's most under-addressed challenges: measurable, scalable, outcome-driven child development. Pinnacle's impact rests on a foundation of globally patented systems, each representing a breakthrough in developmental science. 1. Pinnacle Ability Score 2. Pinnacle Therapeutic AI 3. Pinnacle SEVA Social Equity Invaluable Access 4. Pinnacle Everyday Therapy Program 5. Pinnacle Therapy Sphere Excellent catch, and you're absolutely right. The 7 Pinnacle Readiness Indexes are a critical part of your IP and innovation framework. They represent a globally unmatched toolset for domain-specific readiness tracking and should never be omitted from any editorial, especially when discussing ability score, therapeutic AI, or patent-backed infrastructure. 6. Pinnacle Readiness Index is a globally patented suite of 7 predictive developmental indexes, each derived from Ability Score and powered by therapeutic AI analytics. Each index delivers a domain-specific readiness score from 0-1-0-0-0, enabling policymakers, educators, and health systems to evaluate preparedness for real-world functioning, not just diagnosis labels. Each index is these indexes are the next evolution of ability score, turning measurement into momentum and insight into real world. Inclusion pathways. These aren't just tools. They are patents with purpose, born from India's science, motherhood, and public service ethic. That's why the government of Andhra Pradesh's recognition carries such historic weight. When a state ministry acknowledges a platform built on registered, validated, and protected intellectual property, it's not just endorsing care. IT is endorsing nation-building innovation. And it sets a new precedent that India's solutions don't need to be imported. They are already invented, already patented, already proven, and now officially recognized. The Pinnacle IP framework is ready to power with patents secured, compliance assured, and results published. The only thing the world needs now is to adopt what India has already protected. Point 7. The Pinnacle Research Studies White Book that changed world of child. DEVELOPMENT. Most frameworks begin with a hypothesis. The Pinnacle Global Autism Framework Research White Book begins with proof. Released in 2025, the White Book is not a brochure. It is not a concept paper. It is a scientific compendium, a global benchmark, and perhaps the world's first full-spectrum, multi-domain, government-ready validation of a child development system built entirely in India. What it contains. It is authored by a consortium of 144 experts, including key breakthroughs that redefined what's possible. These results were not isolated. They were replicable across geographies, socioeconomic backgrounds, and diagnoses including autism, speech delay, ADHD, sensory challenges, and global developmental delay. What the White Book proves: it is the only child development framework that combines a universal developmental scoring system, Ability Score, a therapeutic AI engine that guides daily goals, therapeutic AI, an equity-based subsidy model without hierarchy, SEVA, a multilingual, parent-empowered home extension program, everyday therapy, sensory structured environments proven to reduce meltdowns, and anxiety therapy. Sphere global implications. The White Book has now been. It is also why it mattered to Andhra Pradesh and must matter to the world. When the Andhra Pradesh Health Ministry endorsed Pinnacle, it cited not just potential, it cited the White Book. IT saw a system already validated across. This wasn't a pilot, this was a platform waiting for scale, not approval. As the White Book states what Aadhaar did for identity and UPI did for payments, Pinnacle has now done for child development. This is not just India's proof of concept, IT is the world's proof of possibility. Download the full compendium, data tables, and deployment protocols. PinnacleBlooms.org. Research Studies for Strategic Implementation. Care. PinnacleBlooms.org. 8 Voices from the GROUND. Numbers prove systems, but stories prove why they matter. Behind every ability score graph and White Book chart are real families, from Aluru to Varangal, from Hyderabad to Khammam, whose lives were transformed not by promises, but by outcomes. Here are their voices. We didn't know if our son was improving. Therapists said he's doing better, but we couldn't see it. Ability Score gave us the first real proof. In numbers. In zones. In progress, we could finally understand. Shruti, mother of a 4-year-old, Varangal. We were poor, but we never felt less. Seva gave us the same therapist, same tools, same room, and never once made us feel like we were second class. They never mentioned money, only milestones. Rekha, caregiver, Aluru. She used to scream at the sight of therapy. Now she smiles and walks in. Because therapy sphere is built for her brain, not just her body. Lakshmi, mother, Hyderabad. The sticker chart. The spoon game. The smile when he got it right. Everyday therapy made our home feel like part of the process, not just the waiting room. Vineha, father, Visakhapatnam. They asked my son questions in Telugu, not English. The moment they said Alma instead of mom, he unlocked 10 more words. Meera, parent, Hyderabad. Before ability score, I only had fear. After 3 months, her score moved from 378 to 520. She said Alma again. It felt like I got my daughter back. Fatima, Seva beneficiary, Kamam. Even therapists echo the shift. I used to burn out by noon. With therapeutic AI, I spend less time guessing and more time connecting. Nayana, senior OT, Bengaluru. Planning used to take 10 minutes per child. Now it's under 5. I have more emotional space left for the child and the parent. Vikram, ABA therapist, Hyderabad. These are not testimonials. They are testimonies of systems that measure, of therapies that include, of governments that believe, of mothers who never stopped. And now of a country that has proven when innovation is mother-led, science-backed, and government-recognized, no child is left behind. What began in one therapy room in one moment of a mother hearing Alma after 912 dashas now become a movement recognized by governments, validated by science, and ready for the world. This is not just a story of therapy. IT is a story of what happens when mothers lead. Science listens, and systems choose to act. Andhra Pradesh was the first state to say this is not just promising. This is proven. And we will stand with it, but it will not be the last, because what the White Book reveals and what every child, parent, and policymaker already knows is this: that therapy works best when it is measured, that inclusion begins with insight, that progress is possible when you can see it today. The path forward is not hypothetical. IT is mapped, IT is documented, IT is waiting for action. So, what happens next if you are the future is no longer undefined. IT is measurable, IT is multilingual, IT is mother-led, and it is made in India, from red zone to green zone, from confusion to clarity, from diagnosis to dignity, from silence to self-sufficiency. If Einstein had therapy, we may have understood him sooner. If your child has Pinnacle, the world will understand them now. Call now 90-100 181 181, India's National Autism Helpline. Visit www.pinnacleblooms.org. Email care@pinnacleblooms.org, because every child deserves not just to be seen but to be understood, not by chance, but by a system finally.